before I'm reading on behalf of Simo's family. So this, to be perfectly honest, is pretty much a eulogy. All bullshit aside.
Come up.
Mickey, louder.
Kiss the microphone.
Actually, everyone, a bit of respect if you'd please come forward, because after this we'll be starting the auction, and anyone who wants to bid, we need to see your faces, we need to see your hands. Cut him a bit of slack, all right? He ain't got a big blowhorn like mine or a voice. Easy. So come as close as you can. Don't be shy. You can leave your empty plates behind. Get to your leftovers later. Get a bit closer. Please come and embrace what Tim's trying to say, because it's a pretty serious message that's going to come across. And we'd like you to stay here, especially if you want to bid on the auction that's coming up. Okay, Tim, give it your head. Your best shot and your head.
Alrighty, folks. So if you can't hear me, come closer. So tonight I'm actually reading on behalf of Anne and Jeff, who are Simo's parents, and Samantha, his sister. If you don't know me, I'm a good friend of Simo's, just like many of us here are tonight. I was in Thailand a couple of weeks ago, about 4 days off meeting up with him when what occurred. So privileged enough to go and actually see him, hold his hand, read to him, Ria, and meet his family, who are absolutely beautiful people. So I'm going to read on behalf of them. From early childhood, Simon, Simo, distinguished himself by eating snails out of the garden, and on more than one occasion returned home with his push bike in numerous pieces. He learned his love for fishing, diving and general bush life on the many family holidays spent at Streaky Bay and in the Flinders Ranges. School was not his favourite pursuit. No surprises there. He would much rather have been involved in outdoor activities. Simon played Aussie rules, basketball, and was a keen rock climber and caver. He started Cubs as soon as he was able to, and stayed in the Torrens Park Scout group into his late teenage years. His surfing career came and went quickly when he and a mate went surfing off high cliffs on the west coast, only to be scared shitless by the size of the waves. All bravado going out, but pale as ghosts as they got back to shore. 5-metre waves crashing onto rocks can do that to you. He used to enjoy cleaning the barbecues at the Streaky Bay Caravan Park at night by burning seaweed and weeing on them. No wonder we, his family, struggle to use a public barbecue now. He also used to cast his fishing sinkers into the Streaky Bay outdoor jail. He left school early in Year 12 when his report card advised it was hard to give him a grade without much attendance. He had a desire to be a chef, and after spending 6 months as a kitchen hand in a number of restaurants, working shocking hours and in shocking conditions, he joined the Air Force to further his cooking career and was posted to Melbourne and then Darwin. He was a keen supporter of our local footy team, Sturt. In fact, we believe he still used Double Blues as a log-on name. He became an avid, rabid supporter of the Adelaide Crows, and when he moved to Melbourne, liked nothing better than to drive around the car park when the Crow song with the Crow song blaring if they won. He was one of the first supporters on the Oval in Melbourne when Tony Modra kicked his 100th goal and was excited that he touched him. His bald head painted red, blue and gold featured prominently in the cheer squad for the Crows' back-to-back grand final wins. His huge kick, a Vic flag, waved ferociously until the powers that be said it was politically incorrect. Personally, I don't really understand what that means, but politically incorrect, Simo, I get that. I also get this bit. It is rumoured that he ran naked down the street celebrating one of these grand finals. His mother, to this day, regrets this, as she says she did not recognise his tackle. He once made a flying visit home from Wagga with an army mate in a V8 Yank tank, arrived at 2:30 in the morning, then spent the weekend out partying. He married a girl from Wagga and they had a son, Zachary. The marriage didn't last, and despite Simon's best efforts, his relationship with Zach was strained. On that note, he's talked to me about Zach multiple times, and he tried his absolute best with that. He became a tour guide, which he loved, and it showed this was his true calling. His tours went to Kangaroo Island, Perth and Baird's Bay. He then moved to the Alice. He loved the unstructured lifestyle. We, as parents, received random phone calls keeping us posted of his ups and downs and where he was. His last stretch being out at Uluru, living the high life in 21 Jump Street. He developed a love of Thailand, although his first visit proved short and traumatic for him and for us. Let's leave that one there. He was very keen to pursue his diving career and spend his foreseeable future with Phoenix Divers at Koh Tao. The month before his terrible trauma, he made more phone calls than usual, and we could sense his mounting pride and enthusiasm. In fact, we spoke to him the night he had his stroke. He was so happy about his Dive Master's certificate, as were we. He will be remembered as the bald-headed Aussie with sparkling eyes and big grin. His nature endeared himself to so many people, and he will be missed by us and many of you here today, as well as others around the world. I don't think we have ever met a person, or will in the future, that has had such an impact on so many lives as he has. A testimony to that is how much support and how generous so many people have been. A big thank you to Jason and everyone else that has been involved in bringing today together. We thank each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts, and we know how tough this time is for all of you as well as us. Just a few things I wanted to mention personally. So I had the pleasure of meeting Simo's parents and his sister when I was in Thailand, and they were absolutely lovely. You'd find it hard to believe he was related to them. The cost of his initial treatment to try and get him better, which, to put it bluntly, is not going to happen, and to medevac him here back to Australia, which he arrived in 2 days ago. This stage, about 120 grand. Insurance played hardball, as they do. Paid around about a quarter of that. His mum, Anne, is 69. His dad, Jeff, is 71, fully retired, and remortgaging the house to be able to make all this happen. As far as Jason goes, Jason Westwood, when you see him, give him a hug. That man has done a fucking incredible job, been all around the country so far. The night I met Simo, just a quick personal thing, I'm a tour guide as well. It was my first tour at Uluru. I was sharing a campsite next to him, a wall that came up to here. I'm a vegetarian, never seen this weird looking bald bloke before. Cooking chicken, which I'd never cooked in my life, for 21 people. Thought it's best not to make them sick, and asked him if he could try my chicken and tell me if it was done or not. He said, yeah, sure. Tried it. He said, yeah, it's good to go. And then he said, why can't you try it? I said, oh, I'm a vegetarian. Fair call. Anyway, about a minute or two later, he came back and he said, so how long you had your eating disorder for? But I also had bus issues and a few problems. Never really driven a bus much before, didn't know what all these symbols meant. Asked him if he could have a look for me. And afterwards, we were having a bit of a chat, and he said, mate, I don't give a fuck who you work for, what shirt you wear. Out here, we all stick together. And that pretty much summed up Simo's heart. He said it how it was, and that didn't impress a lot of people. But he was always genuine. He was a very much no bullshit sort of guy. Even if he didn't like you, if there was an issue, he'd help you. And what I would say is that if it was anybody else in this situation from Central Australia tonight, even if he didn't like you, he'd be donating, he'd be buying shit you didn't want, and he'd be rallying perhaps almost more than anybody. So we'll leave it at that. As I said, realistically, all bullshit aside, Simo probably will never wake up, and if he does, it absolutely will not be for the best. If and when, a lot of us being tour guides probably won't be able to be down there for him and for him and for his family. So just before we get on to the giving all our money away to a beautiful, beautiful soul, cheers to Simo. Thank you.
Give the bloke a bit of a louder clap than that, for God's sake! What is wrong with you? I see a few teary eyes in the crowd over there. I'd like to see some fat wallets come out now. Speaking of fat, Jace, come over here.